Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about what's going to be happening with the members only videos and Patreon exclusives moving forward. Now, they're going to remain the same as far as anything the YouTube members get, Patreon gets, and vice versa. You're going to have access to everything. That's always been the case. It always will be the case. You have my word on that, okay? That said, I would say that Patreon's probably easier to navigate than YouTube members, but whatever your poison, don't worry about it. You can use it, and I love that, and that's great. In the past, I've been doing update videos. It used to be weekly, sometimes more often, talking about projects, talking about, kind of behind the scenes stuff, and that's still going to continue to some degree. Although there will be a bit of, once we get to Portland, there's going to be a lot more purpose with the collection and curating the collection. So I'll just cut right to the chase. Instead of trying to rush through the entire process of building up the toy room, because there is going to be full-blown diorama stuff to a certain degree, especially with Motu, I'm going to be doing live streams specific to that. So every time I work on the Motu diorama or any other diorama or any shelving or depackaging or anything, I will live stream it. I will live stream it from the toy room, and you can talk to me, and it'll be recorded. And then what I'll be doing for the main channel, taking the footage of that live stream, time-lapsing it, doing that sort of a thing, and then making, content about that. In other words, a lot of you have been with me from the beginning of the toy collection. A lot of you have been with me from, a couple generations of video gaming. And now you're getting to see a new beginning where we're really curating the collection, and, I'll talk more about it as we move forward. It may take a while. I may get a bug up my ass, and it may only take a couple of weeks. I don't know. But for now, the exclusives will be that live stream. If there's any questions that come up during that live stream, I think everyone should hear about. You'll have videos like that where we talk about that. Any, lessons learned, any perceived, hurdles, those are all going to be in updates moving forward. It's not going to be like, well, I'm going to film a video this week and then not film it for 7 months. I'm going to do my best to avoid that pratfall that I've been doing. Lots of reflection this year, lots of getting to know myself and understanding what my thresholds are with everything. So knowing going in, we're going to have this opportunity to kind of curate the collection in a very new way, and, just shy of its final form, right? Because the room is, square footage wise, as big as anything we're going to end up with in our, what we lovingly refer to as our 5-ever house, right? So knowing that's the case, although the configuration of the room is long, the square footage is the same. So I'm just kind of going, okay, so what do I want my collection to look like? And for now, it's just going to be, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, and it's just going to be in this long hallway type of a thing. Is that exactly what I want? No, but I get to do all those things, and then when the time comes, we just move it to the final toy room, set it up, and that'll be that. And that would be more of a, I don't want to say boring process. It would be less interesting because I'm not doing it for the first time, right? But I'll still probably follow the same thing. So again, we'll be live streaming all of that curation and setup and unpacking and everything. And then we're making videos for the main channel, the mainstream non-members will be able to get a taste of that while I talk about the process a bit more. And that'll be an ongoing series until the toy room is done. And then from there, after almost 5 years, we'll finally lock into a more traditional cadence of videos and live streaming, because the toy room will be done. There'll be no anxiety about that. And every time a new toy comes in, I will be compelled to take it out of the box and put it on the shelf. So that means unboxing, review, put it on the shelf. My question is, do you want me, in the case of those, because there's going to be a long time between now and then, at least a couple of months, I figure. But when that happens, let's say I get a new toy. Do you want the video of unboxing it, reviewing it, and then putting it on the shelf along with its peers to be like that's a per toy thing? Or in the case of the more realistic, where you're getting multiple toys in a box, do you want the unboxing video, which I do think that could probably stay an exclusive because they don't do well on the main channel. So I figured, well, give it to you guys. So any unboxing you guys see, but then the review and the placing on the shelf would be its own thing. So, and I want to think of a slick name for it because I don't want to call it review. I don't want to call it curating, but there's got to be a name that could be used or some kind of a concept where it's the idea is Jim acquires this toy, puts it on the shelf, right? Or this video game or this movie, because guess what? That's going to be a part of the channel moving forward. I want to talk more about everything we do. Like, for example, like one of the videos that is going to be coming up once we settle in, even though it's going to be 6 months late, we got the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 Collector's Edition for PS5, PlayStation 5. And the reason we got the Collector's Edition is because it comes with a fucking skate deck. And Lauren loves the artwork of Skate Desk. She loves the Tony Hawk series. It's a really big nostalgic video game for her. And I want to talk about that. I want to show you guys how cool of a thing that it was for a relatively low amount of money. So I want to have that video. But what's interesting is that you're not going to get that, we just got this, isn't this great? You're going to get, we can finally take this out of the box permanently and hang it somewhere in the house. And that video will kind of like be her talking about Tony Hawk and why she loves it. It'll be footage of us putting it wherever it's going to end up for now, which will probably be somewhere in the main living space because I want that prominently displayed as like, oh, who likes Tony Hawk or whatever? It should be like me, because I think most people, when they see something like that, are going to like think it's me. I can't skateboard worth a shit. I don't think she can either. But she definitely has done it more than I have, because I haven't done it at all. I tried it once when I was a kid, fell, never touched him again. But that's the kind of thing that you can expect moving forward. Not just, ooh, isn't this neat? Here's the articulation. Like, that's it. I want this to be, the new toy series, I guess we'll call it, the new acquisition thing. I kind of want it to be how I got it, why I got it, what is it, how it fits in the collection, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then it goes on the shelf. And all of that you'll have footage of, presumably. So if it's the product of, say, a local toy hunt, I will have footage of that. If it's the product of receiving the package, you'll have at least some footage of it coming out of a shipping box. So, like, that'll get a nice reuse of the footage from exclusive, Patreon and member-only videos where I'm opening a bunch of toys out of the box, a shipping box, right? Because once I do that, I'm immediately going to go into filming each of the, well, I got this footage, right? Because I don't want them to sit in the package, right? So I think that this all makes sense. I think it's kind of like taking all the types of videos you typically see and kind of making little episodes about each toy as they arrive in the collection. And the road to getting there is to curate the collection that we already have and get everything set up the way that it looks. That is the plan. I know that, like, for example, once a display is done, so let's say I have Motu display is done, and then just, let's say, G.I. Joe Classified is this one that goes after, which probably is going to be the case, that or Superpowers, depending upon how things are set up at the time. And then anything that comes in for that collection will get that treatment, you see. So you're not waiting for the whole room to get done before you see these videos, okay? because it just makes sense to me. Because otherwise, I will just be back at square one because now I'll have a stack of Motu toys I haven't put in the display, right? So I know I'm rambling, but that is moving forward what I want the channel to be and the member exclusives to be. So as a recap, member exclusive is you get live streams of me setting things up, and the big unboxings when I get a shipment in or someone sends me something, that sort of a thing. And of course, always your behind the scenes stuff, which certainly is going to be more eventful moving forward, right? And then the main channel is going to be, condensed versions of those live streams along with narrative and interview stuff where I show, okay, we're XYZ way through. I would love to do just one big long video of each display, but that'll come after each part. Like, for example, putting together Eternia and making decisions on how that's going to fit on the tables that I have set out. That's going to be an episode. I think Grayskull should be its own episode. And, Snake Mountain will be its own episode, and so on. Just because, I'm only going to be working on it for so long at a given time, and rather than what I did with this toy room we had, where I did the best I could to get it looking nice, and I'm like, that's good enough, I want to take a bit more care and a bit more thought into how I want characters displayed in and around these play sets, because they're going to be in a semi-permanent place, right? And when you have, over a dozen different variations of He-Man, which ones do you put where and what goes into those decisions and stuff? I think that's going to be interesting, an interesting thought process to go through. So I'm very excited for that. And getting into our next order of business, as of today, as I record, it's October 1st, we're 30 days out from being in Oregon. All right. We've made most of the arrangements that we need to make as far as getting there. I just need to place some final bookings of certain things. Like, for example, we are not driving to Portland this time. We're flying. Yes, with the animals. It comes at a cost. But considering the timeline of the movers and not wanting to pay them extra to wait around for us, which is like, well, basically we'd be putting the money in someone's pocket anyway. So let's take the stress off of us rather than off of anybody else. So instead of driving up, we're having the car shipped cross country, which is really, they're just slapping it on a car carrier and they're going to get it to where you want to go. And then we're flying with the animals. We'll be staying in a hotel the first night and then going to our house when the movers come. Relatively low stress. And then they're going to come in, put everything where we want to put them, and then they're going to fuck off. And if all goes to the current plan, a month from today, November 1st, would be the first day where we really get a chance to unpack stuff. Because they would be there. Wait, no, it doesn't quite wash. But anyway, 30 days from now, we'll be well in the process. We'll be in Oregon in the process of everything. So that's exciting. It's scary, So we have to finish packing the toy room, which once we get going, that's going to be a couple-day process probably. Just by virtue of, the hardest part being right now there's boxes blocking most of the toy room. And so you kind of have to move those out. And then, this is going to sound counterproductive, but it's going to make sense in the long run for us. We're going to do all that depackaging that we said we were going to do. We're just not going to place them on the shelf. Now we're going to depackage them, put them in a bag, put them in a bin, and then take the loose stuff off and put them in bins. And we're going to start thematically, right? So in my head, what I think would make the most sense as far as making it long-term, easier to unpack and curate and have fun in the toy room in Oregon is going to be to pack things by toy line, which that's natural, right? But that also means taking the bins out of the closet that are already packed and ready to go, opening them and sorting them so that everything we have is packed with like for like. And if there's a separation, you put little bubble wrap or a piece of cardboard or something, and you put the other stuff in there. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me. And for me, as far as the sorting goes, that might be an extra hour or two of work, but I feel like it would save so much time on the other side. Plus, if you do that last, you have the oldest toys, arguably like the core toys from that line, are packed on top first, right? So with He-Man, that makes sense. And with Super... Anyway, the point being, we're going to pack this stuff, and it takes time. I was going to make content out of this. We might live stream some of it. I can't promise you that because I just want to get it done. But as kind of a connective tissue point to that, Melvor was here 2 days this week. He was here Monday and Tuesday of this week. We're just hanging out because, you know, with Billy's passing, it got us kind of talking again. A lot of us all are talking more often than we normally would. And Melvor was just like, can I come over? We're going to hang out? I'm like, yes, absolutely. So he came over. We just hung out and kind of talked through some of our grief and talked about what's happening with my channel, and stuff. One of the things we're going to do next time he's over, which will be either later this week or sometime next week, we're not sure. What he's going to do is film in the toy room as it is now. So you'll see everything just in a complete disarray, right? So you kind of have an idea of what I'm up against with regard to packing. And then he's going to interview me about the toy room and the collection, because he always has had a lot of insight into like the growth of things. He's always tried to remind me, hey man, 4.5 years ago, you had like 3 action figures in your collection. Now look at you. He said, you've done the work, you know? So he likes to remind me that I'm human. He likes to remind me that I have a kick-ass collection, and that he likes learning about it, why I have certain things over other things. And we were on the phone the day after Billy passed, because we both were just like in shell shock, as one would be. But he just picked the phone and called me, and I really appreciated that. And we talked on the phone for like 3 hours or something. And I just stayed in place, and he stayed in place. Finally, we both had to piss, and we had to get off the phone. But during that conversation, he had talked about how, kind of brought up the memory of helping me get my desk into storage, and then get certain toys in and out of storage. There was that one day where we did the show from the hotel, and he was in like this little camping chair, so he looks shorter than me, even though he's not. We're about the same height. And also, you know, the infamous, we had McDonald's together. Like, that was all like one day, and we were reminiscing about that. And it was him that kind of said that we should have some kind of a send-off for this era of the collecting and this era of the channel, because it is a big change where it's less about chasing that dragon of curation, and I'm going to actually get a chance to enjoy everything. And it's he who is very much like, well, enjoy this moment, man. Like, you know, and he's right. So that's what we're going to do. And I know that I said I was rambling 10 minutes ago, and I'm still rambling, but it feels like there's really news. So, we're going to try and have that video done before we leave. I'd like for it to, I really want it to release the day that we move. So like not necessarily on the day of the flights, but like the day after. So if we fly out on the 30th, which right now is the date, I'd like to see that come out on Halloween or something, which I know is weird because Halloween's scary stuff, right? But moving is scary. So that's the plan. To have that video out while we're really busy and I'm just not going to be engaging with you guys social media wise a whole bunch, to give you something to watch. And I want to do at least 1 or 2 other live streams from this house before we leave. I would like to do it from the toy room, but I don't know how feasible that is, just for the simple fact that it is so cramped in there right now. Plus, the computer has not been very happy with me lately in there. So I just want to talk to you about where things are going. I want to talk to you about what things are going on now and kind of what to expect. And I think I've covered all that. I love you guys. We will talk very soon. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment on the video. If you're watching on Patreon, comment on the post. I don't see YouTube comments, right away on there. Please, please, please go back to the Patreon post where you watch this and leave the comment there if you're on Patreon. Okay? So get at me. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, that's where we're going. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Cheers.